Hi folks, we're going to see if we can get Fusion up and going running on your computers. So first of all, get on your blank screen here, and down here you've got the big F, that stands for Fusion, Autodesk Fusion 360. So you want to click on it and open it up, double click on it. Now it might take a little while. I don't know if all 18 or whoever's in the class can do it at the same time and it comes up quickly or not. As you can see, I'm doing this from home and it's taken a little while. But we'll get there. Just be patient with it. Okay, so when it comes up, this is what it looks like. Okay, so if you remember from your notes, this is called the canvas right here in the middle. Okay, up here you've got your toolbar, application bar. Over here, you've got your data panel. So I'm going to click on it to show you what it looks like. So you've got some things over here about my recent data, projects, things like that, assets. We don't really need to get into it too much, but I am going to back up and close that data panel. Okay. That's about it. Okay. So first thing we want to do, come back up here to File, pull it down and go New Design. Okay. Now, if you see, we've got it right here, and your first step is always create a sketch. Now, before I do that, I'm going to come over here to document settings and click on that one. And you can see I'm in millimeters. Well, we hardly ever measure in millimeters. So I'm going to come down here to the edit portion, click on it, and over here to the right says we're in millimeters. I'm going to come over here and change that to inches. Okay, and then go OK. So now everything I'm going to draw in is going to be inches. So be aware of what you're drawing in when you do this, okay? I hate to see you do all, say, 3 or 4 drawings, and all of a sudden it's in millimeters, not inches. You got to draw it over. Got to do it over again. It's good practice, but you're not going to be happy with it. You can see up here is the cube where you've got the front, the top, and the right-hand view, just like we did isometric drawings with, okay? The axis that's coming out down here is called the x-axis. The one going straight up is called the z-axis. That would leave the y-axis going back for the depth from the front to the back. Here's the little house, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but if you click on that house, can't see it, but it rotated or moved that around to get it to a home position right there. So once you've changed that to inches, let's come up here, create a sketch, click on it, and you can see which ones you want to do, okay? So this would be the front side. Over here would be the left side. And over here would be the bottom. Okay, you can see it that way. So I'm going to click on the bottom. Okay, and so then I'm going to click on the top of the cube. So we have a straight view looking down upon it. And you can see the grid. So the line here is a half. This is 1. Now, if you take the roller ball and roll your finger on it, you can go bigger or smaller on there if you would like. If you push the roller ball down and move the whole thing to the left, that will recenter it a certain position. Okay, so you can play around with that in a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a 2-inch by 2-inch by 2-inch cube. So the first thing we're going to do, come up here to a 2-point rectangle, click on it, and then click on the starting point. I always like to start in the origin, and then stretch it up as far as you want. Now there's 1 inch right there, but you can see that the 1 inch is highlighted there. So I could just type in a 2, okay, and it'll automatically move it up there. Then I'm going to hit the tab button, and the tab button moves you to the other dimension that we're dealing with. So I'm going to make it a 2 by 2 cube, okay. So I've got it there. And then when I'm done, click on it, and there it is. Okay, so we just drew the base of our cube there. Then I'm going to finish the sketch. Okay, then I'm going to click on the home, and you can see that turned it then. And then I'm going to come up here to this button where it says extrude. I'm going to click on it. Okay, I just drew the rectangle. It's going to extrude it, so I can take the arrow and move it. Okay, I'm not that patient, but you can see over here, I'm going to type in 2 for the distance, and let me move. There we go, and then go OK. And now if you click on the house, we have a 2-inch by 2-inch by 2-inch cube on there. Okay. So remember, we always start with creating a sketch first. Okay. Then after you've drawn your base view, whatever it is, then you need to finish the sketch and then extrude it. Okay. Now let's say for kicks and giggles, we want to draw a circle here and extrude it upwards. So we're going to make a cylinder on top of here. So I'm going to create a new sketch on top of it. Okay. Then I'm going to come over to the circle. Now, it gives me where I want to place the center of your circle. If it doesn't matter, I'm just going to place it anywhere in there, but I want it to be a 1-inch circle. So I'm hoping that I'm at least in a 1/2 inch on each side. Otherwise, I will make a circle that goes outside of my rectangle. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to click on it. That tells me the center, and then I'm going to pull it out. Okay, and if you want, you can guess to see if it's 1. Mine's 1 right there. Or you can just type in a 1 and then go enter, and I have a circle on there. Now I'm going to finish my sketch, and then I'm going to click on the extrude button. What do I want to extrude? I want to do that circle that I did right there. Whoops, I missed something. Okay, so I screwed up somehow. So I'm going to hit the undo button up here. That is really important, very important. Okay, so let's see what I do here. So am I on the home? Yep, there's my home position. Click extrude. Why aren't I seeing that? I should be able to see a circle highlight. So let me cancel out of here. This is actually good that I'm doing something like this that's not working. So you can see how to undo something. So I'm going to undo that portion. Okay, so I'm in the sketch and I made the circle right there. I'm just going to start over. So I'm going to undo it until I get to right there. Okay, so I'm in that sketch right now because you can see up here it says finish sketch. So I'm in that sketch. I'm going to draw that circle again. Stretch it out to 1. Press enter. There it is. Finish the sketch. Okay. Now extrude. There we go. And I want to highlight that because that's what I want to extrude. Now, why couldn't I do it before? I don't know. So I'm going to click on that and let's make it 3 inches tall. So I'm going to type in a 3 and it should grow up that high and then enter. And if I click on my home, there you go. So you got a little dice there with a little stovepipe on it there, little chimney, circular chimney. Now, what's it look like? Well, we can click anywhere on here and move it around and take a look at all the different sides here. Okay? So it is kind of fun to do that. If you get lost, you can go to the home view and that will put it in the home view. Remember, you can see front, top, and right side view. If I want to see what it looks like flush, I'm going to click on the front view, and there's exactly what it looks like from the front view. I can come up here and rotate it. Now I have the right view. Now I have the top view looking down. Okay, so you could practice with these arrows, grabbing the cube, rotating it around. Just make sure when you're done, come back to the home position that you have right there. Yep, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I like to see the whole thing. So remember, use your roller ball, and you can zoom in and you can zoom out to it. If you want to move it over, you can move it to the left and move it to the right. You have complete control over this, which is one of the nice things about having this drawing program. You control everything. Now, let's make a square over here, or a rectangle over here. So I'm going to come and click on Create a Sketch. And which side should I do it on? I'm going to do it on the right-hand side. Boom, right there. Now I'm going to grab the rectangle, okay? And it's a 2-point rectangle. So I'm going to use my scroller ball, and so I'm going to put it down and rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to let it be a 1 inch by 0.75 inches. So we can go 1 inch on one and tab, and then go 0.75. And it really doesn't matter where it's at as long as it's on your side and everything is contained within that side of the cube there. Okay, when I'm done, I'm going to press either OK, which is behind my palette over here. Okay, or I'm just going to press Enter. That's usually the fastest. So you should have a nice looking rectangle there. Okay, now I want to extrude it, so I have to finish my sketch. Then I'm going to come over here. Let's see. Takes a little bit of time because this is a web-based program. Click on Extrude. Click on here, and I'm going to extrude it out. Let's do 1 inch out. So I should have a little thing like that. Press Enter. Boom. There you go. There you have your first figure. Let me click on the house. So now I get a view, the stovetop coming up, and I don't know, what do you want to call that? A balcony or something sticking out the side. Okay. Now, to know if you did it right, this is what I'm going to do. If we click on bodies, okay, and then we're going to, I think it's left click. Yep. Right click on it. And I'm going to look for properties right here. So this will tell me how much surface area there is, the density. Now, density depends on what kind of physical material. So they say this is made out of steel. We can change that later on. But what I'm really curious about is what is the volume of this? If you have a number other than 11.106 cubic inches, something you did was wrong. Okay? That's how I'm going to check to see if you did it correctly or not. Okay, I'm going to have you bring up your object up on your screen on Fusion. I'm going to say, look at the properties, or maybe you should write it down. And if it's anything besides 11.106 cubic inches, you did something wrong. Now, what that is, I don't know. You'll have to figure that out. But that's how I see if you did it exactly right. Now, it didn't really matter where I positioned the cylinder, nor did it matter where I positioned that rectangle. Okay, as long as it was inside the borders of my cube and not sticking out the side, that's what you have right there. Okay, so I want you to go through and make it. Okay, and then save it when you're done. Now, how do you save it? Come up to File, come down here to Save. Can't do a save as because it's not highlighted. So Save, we click on it, and it's waiting for a name. So let's call this, I don't know, box 1. Okay, or we can let's call it trial 1. Okay, because we're just messing around. This is our first try at it, so we'll call it trial 1, and then hit save. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close it. Okay, now how do I recall it? Come up here and go to Open. So go to File, go to Open. And you can see I've got several of these listed on here. And these are all the things that I've done. Just practiced a little bit. Like all these different boxes I've done. So I'm glad I did call it trial. Okay. They are in alphabetical order. So trial 1, I think it's this one right here. I made it 7 seconds ago. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. Give it a little time to load up. And there it is. Okay. So after you make every one of these, you should save it. Okay. So for right now, I want you to go through the steps to go through and make this. Okay. It's a 2 by 2 by 2 cube. The cylinder here is a 1 inch diameter or a 1/2 inch radius. And we extruded it up 3 inches. The rectangle was 0.75 by 1 inch, and we extruded it 1 inch. Okay. So I want you to go through and try this. Make it on your own screen, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you.